Good morning to the chaos we ride. Newspaper blues with the truth denied. Wake up, Sam, he's reborn again. One step forward from where he's been. Turn up the noise, flip the script today. Lights on, Sam, we've got dues to pay. A world on fire, but the winds still blow. This is Morning Mayhem, welcome to the show. Tales of storms that refuse to yield. Broken hearts and a battlefield. Got scars deep, but that's who I am. I stand tall, now no hidden scams. Turn up the noise, flip the script today. Lights on, Sam, we've got dues to pay. A world on fire, but the winds still blow. This is Morning Mayhem, welcome to the show. From Outrage, mayhem. Got scars deep, but that's who I am. From Outrage, I stand tall now. No hidden scams, no hidden scams. No hidden scams. This will always be who I am. Ooh, Come on in, Mayhem. This is Morning Mayhem, welcome to the show. No hidden scams. This will always be who I am. Come on in, Mayhem. Morning Mayhem. Got scars deep, but that's who I am. A world on fire, but the winds still blow. This is Morning Mayhem, welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, guys. Dude. Man. So as I played that song, I went to the restroom, took a quick one, ran and started a cup of coffee. I'm listening to the intro play, the song. That's a really old song. I've had that song for a long time. Listen to the intro play. I'm waiting for my Keurig to drip, right? When you're waiting for it, when you're waiting for your coffee to get done, you're like, dude, it seems like your Keurig is 50 years old and it is like dripping so slow. Thank you, James, for the 5x5. I appreciate it. Man, that shit is slow when you're waiting for it. If you're late and you're running around and you're like trying to figure stuff out. Anyways, good morning. Welcome to hey, Rosanna, Dana, James Collins Cares, Shell Dub, Nana of Two. This is just the people I can see right off the rip. I'm sure there's many more. If I go up top, You Are Soul. Good morning, my own eyes and ears. Good morning to you. Cliff Ann, welcome. I haven't seen Cliff Ann in such a long time. I'm doing really well. Thank you for asking, Cliff Ann. It's really, really good to see you. That's all I see in the chat as of now. But hey, Feisty Kitty, good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Gaylin, good morning. Gaylin, hope all is well with you. Maybe we can chat later on today. Listen, guys, this is always going to be the Mayhem Show. I'm always going to come in all mayhem, crazy, running late, making coffee, 2 cups, not enough sugar, too much sugar. Am I talking about the right stuff? Is black fatigue too controversial? Is whatever I'm talking about, I'm going to talk about what I talk about, and that's all I'm going to say about it. I'm not going to do a whole show on the rights I have to talk about what I want to talk about. But just know that we are what? Always first. Always what are we first? Recovery. We're a recovery channel. We were born on recovery. If I want to do a news channel, strictly news channel, I'll go start another channel. I have like 7 channels already claimed. So anyways, I have had no coffee yet. So I'm working on that. So you guys be patient with me while I wake up. I might seem awake, but it's all smoke and mirrors right now. I'm just pretending to be awake. Did you guys catch me on Surviving Together yesterday? Had an amazing show with Mac over there. I felt it was amazing. One could say, yeah, whenever you get to talk about yourself, oh, it's always going to be an amazing show. No, but we just don't talk about, how cool we are or how, wonderful things are. We over there at Surviving Together, we talk about the nitty gritty. Even when I was on my other's keepers show and I talked about my road to redemption. It was my own eyes and ears. You know what? It's been a long time since I've seen you. Good morning to you. I've lost so many subscribers this past couple of weeks and then when I don't see people in the chat, I just assume it's those people. And so, but that's just me. I don't know anything. There's no way to check on who's coming, who's going. You just pray that, people like your show and that you're not offensive in the things that I say, or they don't come off offensive. I think everyone knows my heart and that I don't have it in me to be a racist or offensive or say things, at least not on purpose, that are going to hurt people's feelings. And then from there, we just have to just move forward. And if there's a blunder and it's something that I've gotten wrong, like a topic or maybe my viewpoint doesn't have all the facts, then I'll adjust. I can be pragmatic and adjust and but definitely not change my true core beliefs of like family and my recovery and my path to recovery. There's many paths to recovery. I've said it before. It just doesn't have to be 12 steps or just religion. It could be a little of all of it, or it can be none of that and something different. Anyways, did you guys see that some Secret Service agents that got in a fight in front of the Obama's house? Pretty crazy. Has anyone seen that? Put a 3 in the chat if you've seen it. No, not a 3. Put a 2 in the chat if you've seen it. Thank you, Cubides. Cubides. That's a cutie's name. It's a cutesy name. Do you guys like my shirt? I haven't worn this in a while. Lions, not sheep. I haven't worn this in a long time. I can't remember where I got it. I got it off some YouTuber site. It was a long time ago. I can't remember where I got it though. Yep, do what I do. That's why we're here. Thank you so much. I love you too, Feisty Kitty. Yeah, I didn't even mean to start with that intro. I have like this whole intro written out this morning that I took some time and actually like wrote an intro, and I don't know, because I was, running late with my coffee, but here's the intro I wrote. Ready? You guys ready? So just pretend I'm just coming in. Good morning, guys. Good morning, truth seekers and freedom fighters. Welcome back to After the Bars, the morning mayhem show. I am Sam. And whether you're brewing your first cup or still wiping the sleep out of your eyes, you just tuned in to the only morning show where we mix courtroom drama, cultural chaos, and real redemption with no chaser. We break the stories the mainstream won't touch, dissect the headlines, they twist and keep it all raw, real, and rooted in recovery. So buckle up, grab your coffee, and remember, around here, the bars we talk about aren't just prison cells. They're the lies we break through every day. I don't know. And then, I go into my theme song, Yeah, maybe that's just not for us. I don't know. Excuse my language, but fuck. It's gonna be one of those days. Hey Kim, how's it going, you rainbow warrior? You. That's Kim's contact in my phone is Kim Rainbow. I don't know why. She talked about rainbows once. He's just a love of rainbows. Oh, which reminds me, we need to play a video. Kim has a business of supplying security guards to companies, but these are like ex-cop security guards. It's not just like some chubby guy at the mall. These are like real deal, real cops. And I want to get that information to you guys. And if you know anyone who needs security, or if you need security, you know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna do a sponsor segment. I know it's gonna be lame for us, but it's just gonna be cool. It's just something that we can help one of our viewers and her business. So off-duty officers, that's what it is. Off-duty officers, not retired. That's right, you are soul. I think she like sent me one. But yeah, you know what? I want to put together just a clip I can play where it just, start to finish, like, and today's show is sponsored by Bada Bing Bang Boom. Kim, but I promise we will get that together today. If you want to put a link up, or I can put the link up. Did you email me a link? But I want to present the information too, of what it is. I should check my email. Should I do that now, or should we do that later and then have something badass to present, Kim? Dunner dunner, dunner dunner, bump bump bump. Okie doke. I think you already have, but let's just redo it all and get our shit together. So speaking of cops, you guys check this out. If you haven't seen this, this is pretty cool. I hope this works. Not cool, but there was a little mishap in front of the Obama's house, and here's what happened. There's no sound. But that's they said it's two Secret Service officers getting in a fight, but it looks like they're like jumping one person. It's really hard to. You're welcome, Kim. It's really hard to tell. They're like, see how they're like fighting up there. But the Officer Tatum, the YouTuber Officer Tatum, he said that I guess there was some radio transmission just before that, and someone said, "You better come get her before, or you better come get him before I whoop his ass," or something like that. And Officer Tatum was like, "Oh, that's got to be a black guy. That's got to be a black guy." Officer Tatum's black. He's a ex-black officer. I'm trying to remember what he said exactly. Let me see if I can find that. Oh no, I have him queued up for the Carmelo Anthony stuff. Well, yeah, so I don't know. It's pretty crazy. Someone said it. Someone said it had something to do with Michelle Obama. I don't know. I don't want to speak about it. I just wanted to show the video and show you guys how crazy that is. Before we get into the and even if we do or we don't, into the, you guys remember I did a show on the black fatigue and how, like, is it racist? Is it giving white people an out to be racist? Is it giving a way for black conservatives to be disingenuous in a way, like, oh, yeah, we're tired of course, people are fatigued from all the ghetto ratchet, or the black culture that's ghetto and ratchet out there. Our style of black culture is so much better. I don't know what it is, man, but people people will will make any excuse to, even though they can be saying they're not race baiting or they're not being racial or racist. And to me, it all comes off in some weird, uh, anti. It's like fake anti-racism, and it's just bizarre, man. It's bizarre, and people just run with it, however which way. If they're for it, against it, oh no, this is bad. Can't we just all be one race, or or one culture, and just come from a place of love and love each other, no matter how the other acts? Even look, I know exactly what they're talking about. I live in Montana. There's hardly any black people, and there's no black culture in my state, or at least where I live, and I live in the biggest city of Montana. There's not like a big presence of that, but there's like a white culture that's ghetto and ratchet, and it's white people acting like that, like when I go to the Walmart. But I don't judge that, or think that they're not as good as me or cool as me. Even if they come off like that, I'll still say, hey man, what's up? And they either tone it down and be like, oh, hey, what's up, bro? Or or they'll just give me fuck you, man. We're in here being our, trailer park ratchet self or whatever, I've lived in trailer parks back in the day when off and on when I was a kid. But we didn't act like that. But I knew people that did. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, but this is like my final point on it. And I'm not even going to ever bring it up again, even though I have some stuff queued up, but you know me, I'll change it in midstream. You know what? I don't want to talk about that. I thought I wanted to showcase it, but I feel like showcasing it is being part of the problem. Even having black fatigue in my title is kind of part of the problem. Yeah, I want to have views, and I want to make money from the views. And I know that, having that in the title, possibly could get me views. But now, am I part of the problem if I do that? Do you know what I mean? I don't know. If maybe I could probably retitle it and say, black fatigue equals fake fatigue. Everyone's just looking for a reason to comment on something. But I mean, that's why we're here. We're commentary, right? We're reactionary. I don't know, man. I just it's so funny, man. When I do show prep for these shows, I get things ready, and I think, yep, that's trending. That's going to be good. It's something I feel I can talk about, and it's something interesting for me to talk about, and I can talk about it with passion. But I think I see the truth of it all. It's just come to me. That it's just everybody looking for a reason to take a side on something, or to be oppositional, when why can't we just maybe a white guy like me, I can't go into that ghetto culture into that ghetto culture and try to say, hey, why don't we be loving to our fellow brothers and then our fellow white brothers. I can't do that, but if I was black, I could do that. I don't have to if I was black, I don't have to stand on my soapbox and say, yeah, man, these ghetto fools, I that's why I moved out of that neighborhood. Why instead of talking about that, talking about what can we do to help, our brothers, just see that, that maybe that's not the way, or that it's offensive to others around them. I don't know, man. I don't even know what I'm talking about right now. Sam, the white woman, you talked about that, and then I saw on YouTube, we texted up. Oh yeah. So effing gross how she presents herself, how she should be banned from YouTube. Yeah, dude. What was her name? What was her name? Hey Jackie Azure, good to see you. I stayed in my nightgown and robe all day. God bless to be here. 64 years. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jackie. I love Jackie Azure. Hey, Jen Marie. Good to see you. What was I saying? Yeah, dude, that chick. I can't even remember her name. And she was like all over it. Oh man, I did 2 shows about her. But yeah, she was just it was just ugly, man. Her calling that little kid that, and he's just a 5-year-old kid, man. He's just a kid. He's seen a bag, and he doesn't know he's a kindergartner. But what do I have set up for over here? Oh yeah, this is my reaction setup. I do want to talk a little bit about before we get going. I want to talk a little bit about Carmelo Anthony because I do want to stay on top of that story, just because I want us to be on the right side of when all hell breaks loose, and it's going to. When this kid gets found guilty of murder and not let go from self-defense, all hell's going to break loose. And here at After the Bars, we're going to be on the right side of that. We are going to be on the side of truth, and that we're not race baiting. It's not about race. It was about his actions. And but Officer Tatum had a little bit to say about that. Let's just watch that while I gather my thoughts about some other things. I do want to talk about the Karen Reed trial, what's been going on there, and we'll talk about that, and then we'll get to the chat, and we'll have a conversation with you guys and chill. But yeah, check this out.
Was charged as
give me a 5x5 that you guys can hear this.
I'm sorry, something in my throat. Carmelo Anthony charged as an adult in this case against the young man Austin Metcalf. Let me just say this real quick before I play this clip. And shout out to Anton. This is his video that we got. We got this from his channel. But let me just make this point real quick. I told y'all from the very beginning that Carmelo Anthony needs to make a plea deal. I do not see how this kid is not found guilty in the court of law based on.
Hold on. I wasn't saying yes to what he was saying. Kim says, will you be covering Alex Murdaugh? I will be covering Alex Murdaugh with a fine tooth comb. And I'll be bringing on Mac, hopefully, for that too. So she can bring me to reality on things when I get on my little tangents. We talked a little bit about that yesterday. Oh, hey, good morning, Mac. Good to see you. Speak of the devil. And thank you for the 5x5 to Jackie Azure. Yeah, let's watch this a little bit. Carmelo Anthony, 17, being tried as an adult under Texas state law in first-degree murder of Austin Metcalf. Faces mandatory life in prison, possible parole after 40 years. That's if he goes to trial. They're going to come at him with a plea deal. But let's listen to what Officer Tatum has to say.
On the statutory requirements. Being charged with murder, first-degree murder, isn't a difficult charge for what transpired in this incident. Now, many defense attorneys will say that they may find him guilty of a lesser charge, which is manslaughter. And manslaughter, he probably spent about 5 years in prison, and that's it. That could be a possibility, but it's not guaranteed. With them charging him as an adult, if he is found guilty on first-degree murder, he is going to do a significant amount of time in prison. Significant. And I do not think this young man was as malicious as life in prison or 40 years in prison. Now you reap what you sow, right? Like I was just telling y'all, you sow good seed, you blessing somebody. You stabbing people and living this lifestyle, it's going to lead you down a path of destruction. Now, in the state of Texas, there is no death penalty for a person his age, so he's not going to get the death penalty. Parole eligibility after 40 years if he is found guilty on first-degree murder. Now, for those of you who may not be familiar with the case and some of the reasonings behind why he would probably be guilty in this situation, is I'm going to articulate it for you real quick. First degree murder, there's different levels of murder, right? There's first degree, which means premeditated murder. There's second degree, which murder without premeditation. Third degree murder or manslaughter is a murder that wasn't intentional, but through negligent action, you cause the death of another person. The difference between first and second degree murder, the difference between premeditation and not premeditation is a very thin line that a lot of people don't understand unless you do this, right? Premeditation is I'm
gonna touch on the hockey player trial here in 1 second, and then we'll put together a show. But I just found some information, and I'm gonna read that here as soon as we're done with this. Right.
Moment. It can be a split second of pre-planning something that will change you from being murdering somebody spontaneously or through premeditation. Let me give you an example of why Austin Metcalf and the Carmelo Anthony situation is a premeditated murder. When you look at the fact that they were in a confrontation, Carmelo knows he has a knife in the bag, nobody else does. So there's a level of concealment of the knife in the bag that others aren't aware of, and Carmelo is aware of that, and he knows the circumstances. So then when he tells them, touch me and see what happens. Now, if Carmelo was arguing and they get into a scuffle, the stuff get crazy, and he stab and he run, that would be a second-degree murder. But when he says immediately out of his mouth, touch me and see what happens, touch me and see what happens, therefore, they've established that he premeditated. That means that when they touched him, he pre-planned that if they hit me, I'm going to reach in the bag and I'm going to stab the kid in the chest. Knowingly, if you are reasonable to know, if you stab somebody in the chest with a knife, that you are causing serious bodily injury or death to that person. That's called reasonableness. A reasonable person should know if you stab a person in the heart that they may die as a result. So when you look at the totality of circumstances, you say that premeditation was established when he said, touch me and see what happens, touch me and see what happens. And they touched him, and he continued down the path of do this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this, which established premeditation. Now, it wasn't self-defense, and it doesn't appear that it was self-defense. I don't know if it was self-defense, to be honest. I'm not at the court. I didn't see the videos. I don't know what all the evidence they have, and I didn't interview a single witness. Based on the information that we have, it doesn't seem to be self-defense when you have a out, meaning that the people are just verbally asking you to leave. And you couple that not with throwing hands, not with a verbal altercation, but you accelerated your use of force to deadly force, which wasn't what you were combating. You weren't combating deadly force,
right? Austin Metcalf.
And so then there's a level of
deadly force.
Deadly force.
So here's the deal with that. Like it's just what Officer Tatum said, and I said it before in my very, very first show about our Carmelo Anthony. Is that he wasn't presented with deadly force by Austin Metcalf. It was just him asking him to leave. Even if Austin Metcalf put his hands on him and like tried to escort him, which he shouldn't have done. He shouldn't have done that at all. For real, he should have just let the young man get out of the rain if it was raining and stay there. But I get it. It was the school tent. You know, he wasn't supposed to be there. That's a whole nother, issue. Both of them shouldn't have done anything. Did he deserve to die for that? No, of course not. Of course not. But and I don't even know if that's what happened. I'm just saying worst case scenario, Austin Metcalf put his hands on him and was like pushing him out of the tent. And then he got stabbed for that. He wasn't presented with deadly force, even if that happened. And he did it. And he threatened it if he said, see what happens if you make me leave or, get close or close the gap in between the two. And I think, unfortunately, if this young man doesn't take a deal, he's going to get life in prison with possibility of parole, but that's not for 40 years. Yeah, he'll have a life after that, but he'll be, in his 50s. Does he deserve that? I think so, but who am I to judge? Who are we to judge? He's going to get what he gets. And now I could do a whole entire show on what I think that, and because, I am an ex-convict. What I think his life will be like when he gets to prison, it's not going to be fun. He's not just going to fall in line with everyone in his race and his car, because Texas prisons are highly racial. He's just not going to fall in line with his race. Like, his race is even going to have issues with him because he ain't a gangster for real. You know what I mean? He's just kind of like this lightweight rich kid that was trying to be gangster, was like posting gangster videos and gangster pictures of him holding money and guns, and I've showed all those photos before, and they're gonna be like, listen, little man, you ain't gangster for shit. You're gonna have to prove yourself, and they're gonna jump him. They're gonna make him fight, and they're gonna, make him put in work, just like if he was a white boy, doing that same thing. But even as a white boy, if you can come in as a gangster, you're still gonna have to put in work. But the blacks handle their stuff a little differently. And the whites are gonna call for some kind of justice when he gets to prison. And if he doesn't fall in line and join a gang, he's going to be out there amongst the wolves, and they're going to try to get him. So I do feel sorry for the young man, that he is going to have to deal with all that once he does start his life sentence. But that's the horse he's chosen to ride. And we all have our own horse to ride, right? This old Native American guy told me that when I first went to prison. He's like, well, we all got our own horse to ride. Cause I was complaining. I'm like, man, I can't believe I'm getting all this time just for drugs. And yeah, he told me that. So I've always used that term since, Sam. We all have our own horse to ride. And yep, that young man's definitely I hope he enjoys his freedom right now while he can, and just prays for a smooth transition into prison life, because that's going to be the rest of his life. Unfortunately, it's pretty sad. So if you guys have any questions or comments about that story, if you want to know, we'll talk about that here in the end. I have found a little bit about the hockey trial. I haven't read this yet, but we are going to read it together. I'm going to read it for you, since I did graduate from high school, and I do know how to read. You guys are like, really? Just kidding. The investigator here's an update by Lulu on X, and she's saying the investigator didn't review or even collect all the evidence, drew his own conclusions of the case before even talking to the suspects, didn't do follow-up interviews even after new information came to light. Fire this dumpster scum into the sun, FFS. And here's just some stuff. I want to get the story of the hockey trial. These are just updates. So awful. I don't know how they sleep at night. Getting drunk and going home with someone should not mean you deserve SA. I just want to give a little trigger warning. I'm going to be talking about SA a little bit. I'll put it at the bottom. If you're in a domestic violence situation, or someone maybe, but please call the number that I have at the bottom, or text SASS to 839-863 for free confidential support at any time. And that information is scrolling at the bottom. So here's another just update. I guess these lawyers are really drilling these victims on the stand in this trial. I don't know if I should, not because of the information being sensitive. I don't know if I should read these without knowing all the information. That way we can be better informed about even what I'm talking about. Let me just read this. Yeah, I don't know if I want to read that. Yeah, these are just updates on the I don't know if this is a different one. This one seems like it's in London. Pretty so irate by what I've seen. I've been brought so many times. I was demanding, and the boys weren't willing, so I just told her to leave. Even the boys are accused. I keep forgetting that is them on trial and not EM. A surprise player witness. Animated exchange about a new development. Here, still talking about the Canadian trial. Katie Strang, maybe I'm going to go to her page and get more information. But the prosecutors have introduced the possibility of a surprise player, hockey player witness in the Hockey Canada sexual assault trial. I'm just going to click this link. Oh, I have to join. Man, that sucks. Let me go to the chat and see what you guys are saying. Sam, do you want me to come up? Yeah. Do you know a little bit about this? Like more information than I know right now, and then we can just read these a little bit. Yeah, I will. I'm just going to put a link here in the chat, Mac. Okay. I put a link in the chat. Yeah, and we'll just have Matt come up. That way this information that I'm looking at makes a little more sense. And then I'll change the title of the show so it's not clickbait. I'm just waiting for Mac to join the show. Sorry, guys. I just have to get me and Mac's background put together. There we go. Retired. While I'm waiting for her, I'm just going to look for some more updates. City News Toronto, former hockey player continues testifying at ex-teammate's sex assault trial. Man, there is a bunch of them. How's everyone doing today? Oh, yep. Okay. She's got to wait for her computer to fire up. Oh, thank you, Kim. Kim sent me a link to the CBC. I will check that out. Look, I finally got one of your links in real time, Kim, instead of after the show. Oh, hey, Grateful, I seen your link too to something. I will check that out. Kim, I don't see the link that you sent me unless you sent it to me on my phone. I won't be able to get it from my phone. Rosanna, Dana, life is okay right now. Life is not too bad. You know, I have lots of stuff that are not great, but you know, it's mostly money. You know, this transition has been really hard, but it's I'm managing it. I'm not complaining, man. I'm healthy. I'm alive. My mental health feels pretty good. Okay, here's Mac Attack. Hey.
Sorry, recovering from a migraine this morning, so I'm a bit.
Oh my God, that's fucking the worst, man.
Yeah, I had to take a second dose of migraine meds this morning. I kind of ignored it this morning. They always hit me like around 4:30 in the morning or something, and kind of ignored it. Fell asleep again, and then by time the cats got me up, I was like, whoa, I better take some meds. So
I don't, praise God that I don't get them anymore. I used to get them and they were like super light sensitive, and maybe they all are, but I'm so glad I don't get those anymore. I just wonder if it's from my other meds that I take.
it could be. Mine's
For
weather
pain.
related. So
Oh,
when
wow.
the air pressure gets too much,
Yeah.
so we had a storm that went through yesterday, and I've been fairly lucky because they usually pass by like April or so. March, April are generally really bad, and then like October, November, or November, December, around there, they're real
Yeah.
bad. But apparently the weather pattern, it didn't pass fast enough. So
Huh.
yeah, so that's why if I'm looking a little hazy, that's why. So I've had my hair up and it's all kinky.
I thought it was just your camera.
Yeah, that too. Put my little filter on, like make me look better or whatever, but whatever.
StreamYard does have a filter. I use it sometimes, but it makes my face look blurry, kind of.
Yeah, it distorts it just a little bit,
Yeah.
The cat caught me this morning. It was like, get up, and he caught me this morning. So I'm like, got this big old bump on my face. So it's like, I don't know.
That's funny. That's funny, not funny.
I know. He caught me on the nose the other day, and so I got like, God damn, like, okay, yeah, all right, your nails are getting cut.
Yeah. you kind of broke up a little bit.
The weather is just like, yeah, the weather, I think, is, I don't know what's going on, but StreamYard just kind of went oop for a moment. Yeah, the hockey players, it's pretty crazy. These charges go back years, because what occurred, and I honestly, and I will say this, and this is why I wanted to cover it, and I still want to cover it in a separate live, and just do this case because the trial started. And Kim said that the Crown actually, which is the prosecutor, actually rested their case already, which I'm kind of surprised about. So
that must be,
kind of go through it, but I'll just give a little bit of a background.
Okay.
So London
just
is London, Ontario. That's.
Oh, okay. See, I don't know.
So when you see London, if you were watching any news, if you're reading any news reports, you've seen London.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so a lot of things that I'm seeing, like that are updates, in real time, what they were in real time of the defense presenting their case. I guess they're really being really combative towards the victims.
Mm-hmm. I totally expected.
Wow, totally expected. Man, that's crazy.
So my understanding, this goes back, these players, which one of them I believe is part of the and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, anyone who's been following it more. There were 5 hockey players, and I think they all got indicted. I'm not sure if there were originally more of them, but they were part of the junior national team. And they all went out to a bar one night, and one of the players hooked up with one of these with the girl, with the victim, who kind of started this whole thing. And she went back. She had consensual sex with this guy, but then he invited other players from the team. So yeah, they are the 5. One of them is actually made it to the NHL.
Wow.
And they call them lambs. And so this has been a bigger issue in Canada because it is really been a I'm losing the word right now, but the governing body, Hockey Canada, I think it's called, there's been a lot of they had hearings and stuff like, how much did you know about this? Because this is a pattern of behavior, basically, of sexual assaults occurring through, and them just kind of paying it off and blowing it off and being boys will be boys type of thing. And
Yeah.
women are promiscuous, the girls, wanted it type of thing.
Yeah.
What compli-
Groupies.
Yeah. And what complicates the situation is, she didn't want to engage in these other acts, but if you were an outsider looking in, you would kind of think that she was agreeing. She was drunk, however. She was drunk when she left with the guy. So that takes away her consent. None of the subsequent players specifically asked her, do you want to do this? Is my understanding. It was kind of the consent was given through the first guy who had sex with her. It was like,
Right.
hey, come on over. I've got a girl who's willing to engage with everybody. They have video, and I don't know if it was presented in the trial, but they had video from one of the players who kind of filmed himself before going into the hotel room, was like, yeah, hey, we got a lamb here and we're all coming in to, yeah. So feeling coerced, being drunk, not knowing what to do, flight, fight, freeze. Try to say that 5 times fast.
In the morning with a migraine.
I know, I'm just kind of the coffee, the caffeine from the coffee only got me so far. That kind of like reduced the headache a little bit. Now I'm trying to get actual caffeine in my body. So, I mean, her ability to consent was no, right? At that point, based on all of those factors. So she just kind of endured it. I mean, she's in a room with 5, 6, I think there were up to 6 or 7 hockey players there. There were more than, I'm not sure if it was just the 5. I thought there were more, but I could be wrong on that. I mean, these are all fit hockey players in their prime, 18, 19 years old type of thing. And, what chance does she have to fight them off? She's her nervous system has gone into overload. She's drunk. And she was like, just do this, I'll just do it and I'll get through it and whatever. And she went home. Then I think the next morning, she ended up home, and her mother found her crying in the shower and was like, what is going on? What happened? And so her mom reported the assault, and the team found out about it that morning. And I'm not sure if it was before they got notified by the police or not, but the original guy she went home with was like, hey, I was pretty sure they had already been contacted, because he was just like, hey, you need to get your mom to back off. You need to tell her that it was totally consensual. You need to. And so she had retracted her statement, feeling the pressure from the guy. Was like, yeah, no worries, don't worry. I don't want to cause problems for you guys. And so I'm sure the defense is going to be, bringing up those text messages that she had. And so it complicates things. But if the prosecution did their job in presenting some sort of expert to explain what happens to sexual assault victims when they're, in the midst of this, you have totally frozen on my screen. I don't know if that's true. Yeah.
Oh, it might have just been me listening too.
Well, you're stuck in half sucks, so I think you're frozen. I can't see the chat because I don't have my phone going, but I'm on private chat. That's why. Yeah. There you go. You're back.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I thought it was there the whole time.
No,
on my end,
like,
I was. Oh.
It's like totally stuck.
Stupid vape. Can I interject something real quick?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Here's the deal. Like, as a guy and and I've been to lots of parties with drunk people, drunk girls, people, having consensual, um, I've been with a girl and it was like going to be our first time and she was drunk and I was like, look, you seem a little too drunk for this to be our first time. You know what I mean? I want our first time to be more not this drunk.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, and I'm not like abnormal. That's just common sense. And that was at a young age. I was 22 when this specific situation happened. And the girl, man, she kind of pressed on, wanting to still. And I was like, no, I'm good. I'm good. You're just too drunk. And I was tipsy too. And I was really into this chick. I guess my point is that it's pretty common sense when you're too drunk. And I get it. Two people can be too drunk and just make a poor decision. But to have guys lined up and calling her a lamb, which sounds sacrificial to me, you know what I mean? To call it a lamb, like even just them using that term, that should present their guilty intent right there. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, what's the term lamb mean?
It's the hockey culture, and not
Right.
to say everywhere, this, but they're coming from. My first husband was a hockey coach. He grew up playing hockey, and he coached travel hockey and then high school hockey. So I've been, with this, and it depends on the values that A, the parents are instilling, and B, your coaches and the organization. And if they're basically supportive of this or silent on this, and they allow this type of culture to grow, and you've got the locker room talk, and it's boys will be boys, and it's kind of an entitlement. You need to understand this was the junior national team, so this is high level. I think a lot of these people went on to play junior A's or junior B's, and which is like, then you're going to go to National Hockey League after that, to the NHL.
Yeah.
So these are high level players. They're very respected in terms of Canada and hockey, right? I mean, what are the two things you think of in Canada? Poutine. Maple syrup and hockey, with Canada, right?
And Rush, the band Rush.
It's like it'd be like football as a religion to some other people, right?
Yep.
And that's what it is. And so, can do no wrong, going to look the other way type of thing. And when you have that sort of culture, they just feel entitled. And it's that entitlement mentality, I think. And I don't know what's happened with there was, I've heard information that there was another man at the bar, a grown man, and they don't know if he was a coach or a junior coach or something, and he was buying the team the drinks and stuff, and buying her the drinks. And so it's interesting because I don't know what his role was, and there's been a lot of questions surrounding this person as to, was he encouraging this? Was he, kind of facilitating, the drinking with all of these kids? And so you got a lot of guys who have been drinking, and this girl, and I'm not sure, because I don't know all the specifics of the trial. I'm not sure how many victims that they've pulled in, but they, when I did see some of the hearings that they had done with the parent organization, and they were basically, we haven't really had any reported sexual assaults, and then it would come out that they had settled with different people, and they were definitely covering their asses.
Yeah. I'm reading here. Here's an update from yesterday. Court has ended, so we're winding down our live updates for now. Scroll down now. Why did the Crown call certain witnesses? I'm just trying to see how many victims wow, there's a lot. Responds, he took the first one right after her, just before she was doing stuff with. Yeah, there's a lot to know.
Yeah.
You're
That's basic background, at least as to why these guys, finally got charged. But
no, that was perfect background. But you're right. There's like a lot of like prosecution situations. You know what I mean? Like issues with the prosecution. They decided not to prosecute, then they decided to prosecute.
Yeah, we can talk afterwards and schedule a whole live in regards to
Yeah,
this.
let's do a whole live about this because
And then
there's a lot.
follow the trial, right? Yeah, follow what the trial has.
Yep. Super interesting, sad, and but like the way I feel about it is that and I get it, these are just young kids, and should they go to prison for the because they made a poor decision? I mean, my answer is always yes when it's regarding SA, but then I guess it's like, how long should they, or because everyone was drunk, not to minimize the victims, but it's such a hard, and I'm not trying to make it more hard than it is. I'm just saying, but it's such a thing. Like, where's these guys' dads? Like, what are they saying and doing? I get it. They want to protect their son, but like, their dads know that this culture that they were involved in this culture. And like, so didn't the dads warn them? Like, hey, keep it in your pants when you guys are drinking, this is your whole life ahead of you, because they're playing at this level of hockey. That would be my advice. You're going to have plenty of time for all the fun and games once you're in the NHL or whatever, focus on now. I don't know. It's just,
the thing about it is that a lot of these kids go to live with other families where away from when they get to that level. Because they're actually away from the regular families, but that doesn't detract from the responsibility of the parents as they were growing up. Because I guarantee all these kids have been playing hockey since they, could skate. And, so they were at home for, an extended period of time before they, elevated to this sort of level. And to your query or concern in regards to how long should they have, this is where I'm definitely supportive of the bifurcation between guilty phase and sentencing phase, that the jury should not be responsible for any of the sentencing, that all should go to the judge, because they should not have to worry, listen, if I sentence this guy, if I say he's guilty, is he going away for life? Is he going away for 15 years? How long should I? And to have that aspect, be part of their deliberation as to whether or not I should find this person guilty. Their job should be solely, did the prosecution meet the requirements?
Yep, I agree.
Finding this person guilty, and then that is their sole focus. Then leave it to the judiciary to decide what is their sentence, and it's so it's going to be based on, had these kids been in trouble before? Are there other I'm not sure, these particular players, if there were any other past incidences of at least allegations of SA, is this something that has been kind of ongoing for these, or was this the first time that any of them had been named as as assaulters? So all of that is going to go on.
I agree, though. I agree with you about the taking the sentencing phase out of the jury's hands, because because especially if they're doing it at the same time, like finding them guilty and like this is the recommended sentence, because because you might say, well, I don't want to find him guilty if he's going to get this much time. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean, because you just explained it to me. But yeah, but I agree. I totally agree on that, because that would be it'd be too much for just a layman to have to decide. And yeah, I
Well,
don't
those
know.
are the cases that you find jury nullification happening, right? Where the jury, they would have found him guilty, save for the fact that they know that there's going to be a prison sentence. So whether it's
Yeah,
in their hands or not, there are times where the jury will just go, nope, we're finding him not guilty, because well, although the prosecution meets all the requirements and the evidence shows that yes, he's guilty, we don't feel that he should be sentenced for this. We don't feel that what he did was wrong
yeah,
morally. And you'll find that a lot in they've seen it in different cases where there's been a race-based aspect to it, or if it's I've seen it where it's been parents or family members who have taken revenge on somebody who's been murdered in their family or SA'd,
mhm,
where they've just been like, yeah, he's guilty, but completely understand, would have done the same thing in my situation, and therefore we're going to find him not guilty. So
yeah,
it does occur.
yep.
Sharona, we're talking about the Canadian, it's a Canadian case, and this is 5 players of the Canadian junior national hockey team who have been charged with sexual assault.
Did you happen to catch yes, let's do it. Let's do a whole show on that.
Sounds great.
Like, yeah, like maybe this weekend or something.
Yeah,
That'd be
absolutely.
fun. Did you watch any of the Karen retrial yesterday?
I did not. I was absolutely swamped from morning till night, and then I was going to catch up afterwards, but as we were talking afterwards, I ended up taking that phone call. So I had to deal with that for the rest of the night, and then collapsed into bed. So I have not. But somebody was saying, I think it was Grateful, said it's been kind of a wild ride so far this week. What's happened?
First, can we just get some prayers and love for Lord Kissfree? Can I ask for continued prayers for my daughter's mom? She had a stroke and is still in ICU.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My friend's brother is in ICU. He ran headlong into a tree yesterday. Unfortunately, there was drinking involved and rain, and wrapped his car around a tree. So he's stable,
prayers for that too.
but
Yeah,
in ICU as well. So yeah, and to anybody who needs them for whatever you're going through with
for
in life
healing
right now.
and comfort and understanding and acceptance and all of it. I always pray for that when I'm like, not only just for the person who needs healing and like God's like intervention, but I always pray for like just for the family to like
Yes.
have like understanding. And it's because that's so much of it too, is like we're just so worried and about our loved ones. But yeah,
Absolutely.
so not to segue into something not as important as that, but the one of the crash scene investigators yesterday, supposedly, or he's a biomechanical engineer or something like that. He's changed his name over the years, but yeah, he's been real like lightweight combative with the defense in their cross-examination of his testimony, and he's got just some weird junk science he's using to come up with what happened. It's just
and why the taillight was smashed based on
and like, he used like this blue paint and said he had to have been positioned like this with the drink in his hand, and then somehow he flew up and the thing hit him, and it's just it's
he got paint transfer.
Yeah, like no, he used paint in his recreation of
okay,
to explain away the dog bites on John's arm.
Okay.
He said that the SUV created all that damage to his arm by the hit, but there's no bruising. It's just, I don't know. It's
Yeah, if you were hit,
my head.
you would expect hematomas. You'd expect bruising. I mean, you don't.
Yeah, there's
There's
nothing.
definitely difference between puncture and a flat hit from a vehicle.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a lay person when it comes to medical stuff for the most part. It's two different types of injuries.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for the defense to come along.
Oh,
God,
man.
I'm getting turkey neck.
I almost have to just cover that every day. It shouldn't take too long either. Well, I mean, who knows, right? Because I feel like they've presented a lot of their defense here with the prosecution's case. They really just have created reasonable doubt with every one of their witnesses. Just the regular people and the expert witnesses. I feel like they have. Yeah, and the guy's on the stand again today. This will be his third full day that he's been on the stand.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
But this is it. I guess this is the last witness for the prosecution, and then the defense will get a chance to start. They'll probably wait till Monday to do it. I don't know, or maybe not.
Very interesting. Well, if they have a quick witness that they can put up, yeah. But being Friday, depending on how long this guy takes. I mean, if he takes the full day and bleeds over till tomorrow or something, but I wouldn't be surprised if they ask.
I'm sorry. Shannon Trimp says the Commonwealth has rested. I must be watching a
That's for the hockey.
Oh, that's for the hockey
trial. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just going because Kim had said earlier that
Yeah.
Oh, Jen Marie, and they're saying court rested an hour ago. Court's over for today. 5 players involved. Are you guys still talking about the hockey then? Not the Karen Reed trial? The hockey case. Okay. Yeah, the hockey case.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the prosecution's rested in the hockey case, so we're on to defense. So it'll be a good time for us either, tomorrow or this weekend or whatever to cover the hockey case.
Today, Thursday or Friday?
It's Thursday.
Oh yeah, so let's do it tomorrow.
Yeah, it's all fine.
If you can, just let me know if you can't. But
I've got a 2 p.m. call that I need to take. That'll be about a half an hour, which is noon your time. So we could either do regular your time, or we can do something separate later on. It just, whatever works for you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll figure it out today.
Yeah, I'm free other than that.
Yeah. I guess that's it. I mean, the Karen Reed stuff is, I don't know.
I do just want to say that I really like whoever. Did you say that guy was an officer or former officer who was doing the Carmelo Anthony case?
The what?
The guy who was covering the Carmelo Anthony case that you played.
Oh, yeah.
Is he a former police officer?
Yeah. Yep. Out of Tucson, Arizona.
Okay. So yeah, I was really appreciative of the fact that when he was talking about premeditated murder, that he was explaining that your premeditation can happen within seconds. This is not be something that you pre-planned, ahead of time and then came to the event, knowing that this is something that you're going to do. It can happen in a split second. It's that decision, that definitive decision that this is something you're going to do. And, he was explaining second degree murder, meaning, lack of premeditation. And often the second degree murders cases, you'll find the definition of it is a reckless disregard for the truth. So of the consequences or the actions of what you're going to do. So if you're firing a gun into a crowd, you may not intend to kill anybody, but if you do, I mean, come on, you were firing a loaded gun where there were a lot of people.
Yep.
It was total reckless disregard for the truth. Or when there's a passion that overtakes. So often people who, say that they come home and somebody is essaying their wife or their kid, and they go ballistic and they end up murdering the guy. That's they call it the crime of passion type of thing. It just totally overtook them. And it's a, some people in that case will argue temporary insanity. The passion overtook them to such a degree. But, so that's can be the second degree murder as well. And it's where you get from that type of mens rea, which is what they call the intention, to negligence, which brings it down to the manslaughter.
Interesting. Yeah. Yep. I was in full agreement with him, like in what you just said about the how first degree can happen in an instant. And I think I knew that already. I can't remember, but I didn't know if I didn't realize that's what happened here until they charged it. And then I seen the evidence and I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, that makes total sense. Because a lot of people think that first degree means that, there's video of them at Home Depot buying a shovel and, or whatever,
right.
That they're
right.
Like some checklist that they've made, like to go kill somebody.
Totally planned it out ahead of time. A lot of where this, when I was in law school, one of the things that, we learned in terms of, this happening within seconds, when you see strangulation cases and how, I didn't intend to, I strangle it or I just intended to cut off her airway or, when you realize it takes a couple of minutes to actually strangle somebody to death. Right. And so that contemplation time, that's kind of where they got it into our heads about it doesn't need to be a long time.
Yeah. Sorry, I was.
Jen's saying check your text. So
I did. I just texted her. That's who I was texting.
Oh, okay.
And then I seen I had 12 other new texts also. She says, yay.
So yeah, see the difference between the two of us. I only have a couple. My son's trying to buy a car. He needs his registration. Oh, you're just so much more popular than I am, Sammy.
I am? No.
For my basic,
you always bring
emails and text messages.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah. These are all tattoo related and friends. My friend wants me to go. I was going to talk about this today on the show. A buddy of mine, one of his guys went to jail. He owns a construction company here. And he, because he knew I was having money issues, paying my rent this month. And he says, hey, one of my guys is going to jail, for a few weeks. Why don't you come work with me? So I might go do that tomorrow.
Yeah.
So if we did do a show, it might have to be like later in the day, but I still want to do it. I'll come home, take a shower
I'll just plan on going over the news today or tomorrow or whatever, just to.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to do that today.
Yeah. And if we have to push it off to Saturday or Sunday or whatever, I might go for a hike Saturday during the day or something. I've got my live in the afternoon, but Sunday's open too. So whatever works for you, spend time with your family too. Jen, I want you to spam me text just so I feel popular.
This is my family. No, but yeah, like he does siding, so it'll be easy for me to I can cut siding and hand it to him, for my back and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Versus doing frame work or something like that.
Yeah, and he knows I have back issues.
Okay,
but,
cool. How's your back
that's how
doing?
God provides,
How's your back doing, by the way?
It's pretty bad, I feel good right now. In the mornings though, it's bad again. So I need to go get my shot. And because I know the shot takes it right away for a few months, but I just I still haven't called them back. I don't know I wake up in severe pain every morning, and all I need to do is call them back, and within a week I'll be in there. And I just haven't. What's keeping me?
I know. Believe me, I know 100% what you're talking about. I will put off stuff for months that takes 5 minutes to do, that's on my list, that weighs on me every day. And it's like, just do it. Just do it. And it's like, I can't.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, the mornings that I have done that, we were talking before, the mornings I've done that just 10-minute meditation about focus and productivity for the day. It's like it just sets that intention right then, and afterwards I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this. It's just that it's deciding for me, versus me waiting to decide.
I'm gonna try that.
If it makes any sense.
Yeah, no, it does. It makes total sense.
I'll send you the one that I've been doing. It's really, it's just breathing, relaxing, and then they say, okay, set your intention. It's 10 minutes. But for some reason, when I do it, it just gets me going. And when I don't in the morning, like this morning, I haven't done anything because I've been dealing with, the headache or whatnot. I've like, okay, I got things to do. And I just kind of look around and go, all right, what am I going to do now? And just kind of like, so yeah, Jen, it is. It's so much easier said than done. And that's it. I think that's why it's almost like the meditation tape is making me do it, or it's setting it for me, right? It's not just me deciding, even though it is. So I just have to actually play the tape then. That's the only decision I have to do, is to actually play the tape. So I've been trying to include that. I get up, I get the cats done, I get my chill on for a little bit while I have my first few cups of coffee, and then the next thing I do before my ass gets off that couch is I play that video, right? And then I think about what I need to do that day, and then I start my day. And it's like, it's just that kick in the butt I need to actually decide to do things. I don't know. It's weird.
Jackie says, see God providing. He knows your needs. He always provides. Amen. Yeah, I was going to say that, Jackie. I think you knew I was going to say that because I started to say it. Yeah, he does. I'm going to have to put in some hard work. I'm not looking forward to that. I mean, I've been a hard worker my entire life. Like, this is the most I haven't worked hard. I mean, I've had major construction jobs. I lightweight owned a construction company for a while. I was a contractor. I had a lot of subcontractors, but I was like the superintendent and, took care of all my jobs. I've done that. I've done it all. My dad always said that a jack of all trades, but a master at none.
You're right. Yeah.
I was like, last week I was trying to think of ways like, what kind of content can I provide that it provides value to my viewers, to where, I can put up the, my donation link. And I was just like, dude, just go work, go do something, go, call some tattoos. Tattooing for me right now is just, I'm just so, I don't know. I'd rather go work construction than do a tattoo right now. And I can make in one tattoo what I make a week doing construction. But for some reason, I'm just, and I talked about this with my therapist yesterday, and is that I'm just like, the actual doing the tattoo is perfect. It's dealing with people right now. I'm really having a hard time dealing with customers and booking them, and what do you need, and then designing their tattoo. If it's not for a friend or like a family member, I just don't want to do it anymore.
When it becomes a chore, it just, and if it's weighing on your mental health that much, it maybe time to pivot just a little bit, and you may decide to pivot back, but just that little bit of a break, consciously giving yourself that break, allowing yourself, saying, it's okay, I need this break. And instead of stewing on it and going, should I, shouldn't I? And then you're down on yourself and you're beating yourself up for not doing it. Consciously saying, it's okay, I need this break. And you may find a day later or 2 days later or a week later, you know what, that's what I needed. Now I'm ready. Now I'm okay. I can deal with some people now, you know, and then,
Yep.
but you
Yep.
needed, but consciously giving yourself that grace, giving yourself the approval to be able to do that, for at least for me, it kind of stops that of should I, shouldn't I, you know, type of thing.
No, you're right.
And in
And that's
regards to the donations, go ahead.
Oh, no, that's what happens.
I was just saying, you know, in regards to the donations, you know, I don't have, I'm not monetized yet. I got 150 hours left to make my 3,000. So we're creeping there with each live. And, you know, sometimes I put donation link up, sometimes I don't. I wonder if it feels weird for people, you know, and, you know, but people, they're going to donate if they want to. They're not going to if they don't, you know, it can't hurt. For me, it's like, it can't hurt to have the information up there. You know, I've been off since last Wednesday, and thankfully the guy I fill in for yesterday called me and said, you know, hey, I got a drunk driving case on Monday. Can you fill in for me? And I'm like, hallelujah. Yes, I can.
Oh, wow.
You know? So it's, you know, it's not much, but you know,
what county are you in Michigan?
Kent. So I'm in West Michigan. So I'm about an hour, you know where Lansing is?
Of course.
Capital, right in the middle. So I am in like an hour due east or due west. I'm sorry.
I'm
about an hour from Lake Michigan, hour from Lansing.
I watch a lot of Michigan judges on Zoom because Michigan is like one of the biggest states for Zoom court.
Wayne and Macomb are like, because that's, you know, that's Detroit, right?
Yep.
So you get everything.
And
from
Washtenaw.
Yeah.
Yeah, Washtenaw is good. Yeah, but Wayne is that's my go-to.
Yeah, Macomb is
too,
part. Yeah, that's.
What is Ann Arbor? There's some Ann Arbor courts too.
I'm not sure. That's got to be Macomb.
Yeah.
Wayne is right. Isn't Wayne farther north, and then Ingham is Lansing, so that kind of goes a little bit east and a little bit west.
Did you go to college in any of the Michigan schools?
Yeah, I went to Kalamazoo College, which is in Kalamazoo, about an hour due south of Grand Rapids. It's a private school. Its campus is right next to, literally butts up to Western Michigan University. So it's a private liberal arts.
I went to U of M Flint for a little bit, just a tiny.
Tiny so just a little farther north. Then I went to Detroit College of Law for law school, but they had just moved. I was the first year to go all 3 years on the new campus. They had started transitioning from Detroit to Michigan State's campus in '96. And I started in '98. So I was the first class that went all 3 years at Michigan State, and they transferred. It's now Michigan State Law School. But it was Detroit College of Law when I started. Then it was Detroit College of Law at Michigan State University. Then it was DCL at MSU. And then it was DCL-MSU. And then it was MSU-DCL. So you could see Michigan State just kind of overtaking them a little bit every year or 6 months or so. So, yeah, by a couple of years after I left, it was Michigan State Law School.
I love Michigan State. I used to go down there for the Cedar Fest. They have like a big party every year in East Lansing. I guess there's like a big, well, not I guess, I know there's like a big apartment complex right off campus. Called Cedarwood or Cedar something.
Yeah. And, West Cedar is one of the main streets.
So they have this back then it was like the biggest party in, you know, out of any college in, you know, in the country. And they called it Cedar Fest. And I used to always go to that, and it was mayhem. It was absolute mayhem.
Well, that's a few years ago when they had the riots at Michigan State University. I think that was one of the complexes that was kind of around there. Central Michigan has always been known as the party school in Michigan, the biggest party school. But Michigan State was for a long time. I mean, they've come a long way in rising their academic their prestige,
Yeah.
I guess, in academics over the last 10, 15 years. So they're quite well respected now in certain areas. The veterinary school is excellent. So I'm just going to comment on this thing, with Jackie
Sure.
saying, get a few hours in at 2-speed. Somebody told me that when you run it at 2-speed, you only get half the hours. You don't so if it's a 2-hour and you're running it at 2-speed, you only get credit for an hour. You don't get credit for the full 2 hours. I don't know if that's true or not. Somebody just told me that.
Well, I will run some of your content too. Like, I have 5 channels. I can watch a video on each channel for real,
Yeah, I try and run my computer when I'm not here or something. And,
Yeah.
because I'm only live 2 days a week, that's when I get most of my hours. So it's like the days in between, it feels like sometimes it helps and sometimes it doesn't. So yeah, if you're going to run it, Wednesdays and Saturdays are definitely the days for it because it's at 365 rolling.
Yeah.
So, but I think anything helps. Yeah,
It's
I don't
so
know if it's
weird.
100% true, Jackie. It just somebody told me that.
What's weird is my legal channel. Like I just looked at the stats on it this morning, and I'll get like 25,000 hours in 2 days, in 48 hours, and it just blows me away because it's not paying like that, but
That's insane.
I mean, but it is. I don't even have to pay attention to it. And I'm still going to get about $500 from it, without posting anything all month.
Oh my God. Wow. I would love that.
Yeah. But if I post, then it's really making money and it's growing at the same time. So I just
that courtroom drama. People love watching that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, guilty of it. I'm certainly guilty of it. There's this one woman who does divorce court. She's an African-American woman, and I don't know where she's out of, but man, she's funny.
I think it's Texas. I think
she's always got her teacup. She always got her tea.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's pretty funny. So I'm definitely guilty of watching that. Drama sells. You know what? Drama and sex.
Man, yeah. Sex. It's so weird being old because I have no libido anymore. And, nothing. I'm not driven by sex at all. I don't understand how these old guys get in trouble for being weirdos. Where does their sex drive come from?
Blue pill.
Yeah, I guess so. But it's bizarre, man. It's bizarre.
Pretty much. From someone who has been in the dating scene for the last couple of years. You either get the younger guys who have their natural sex drive, or I think you get the older ones who definitely are. I've never been with anybody who's been on substances like that. I can't speak from personal experience, but I definitely. Believe me, menopause is no joke. I'm not quite there yet, but it certainly messes with your hormones, and it can shoot you through the roof, or it can definitely drop you down. It's a messy game.
James says 47 dude and my sex drive of a 20-year-old recovering sex addict though, so I don't know.
Different people are different.
I do think because I was hypersexual when I was doing drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And Jen Marie says, that's too bad for you, Sam. I know it is. It sucks. But it sucks in a way, but in a way I like it because I know my I'm not driven by it in any of my decision making or things like that. I don't know. It's hard to explain. David Letterman talks about it.
It opens up, it opens room for those other things to be important in your life, right?
Yeah.
Without sex being what you think about 24/7 and that being the driving force,
Yeah.
So I can completely understand with that. Well, they say men hit their prime at 18, women hit their prime at 30.
Yeah. And my wife just turned 29.
I know. I always, sorry, I think of her wife and I'm like, man, she is just, she's right in it. Well, there's always Blue Chew.
I don't know what we're gonna do. It's an issue, though. It's an issue.
Oh, I completely understand.
She's gonna
Completely
kill me
understand.
for even mentioning it.
Hey, it's a natural part of life, right? And
Oh yeah, and that's why I joke about it. It is totally natural, and
Tommy
like
Stiggs jokes
I
about his
totally
blue
trust
chews all the
our
time.
community. Yeah.
Yeah, he goes to his sex shop every Thursday. We still don't know for what. And I only say this because he was talking about it this morning. So I'm not,
Oh
relaying
yeah,
any
he's talking about the
secrets
filthy
or
shop. He
anything.
said so much about the filthy shop
His
or
filthy
dirt.
shop. Yes, he's taken us there a few times. Only outside. We have no idea why he goes every week, but
It's probably
I'm
for. I mean,
I'm assuming lingerie, because really, are you gonna buy a toy every week? But I'm assuming lingerie.
oh, he
But
gets something for his girlfriend.
we don't know.
Oh, weird. No, I mean he's not weird, but like that's a weird.
He's
Eh,
that he'll be open about the fact he goes, but he's very closed about is actually
Tommy's
why he's
Tommy's an
going.
interesting cat. There's like eventually I'm gonna do a live with him. We've got each other's phone number.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's an interesting cat. I have a lot of things I want to talk to him about.
I will be glued.
Yeah, it's someone had said someone had mentioned one of his lives, like, Gene Gotti is going to be the head of the Gambino family, and I know that to not ever be true. I used to play cards with Gene Gotti in prison, and he was actually my pinochle partner for like 2 months.
That's so hilarious.
Yeah, and I don't think he's got the brains to do it. I don't know though. I don't know. He's just a funny guy, but just goofy as hell, But maybe they're all
Definitely.
goofy. Maybe all those, mobsters are goofy. Who knows?
It's yeah, I mean we've kind of talked about him coming on the channel, but we are struggling a little bit to find a topic to settle on as to what he would do. I mean, I've had some ideas, but I think I don't want to start a war in the comments. Kind of about old school values, and should women go out in short skirts and expect to walk safely type of thing, and just the culture growing up in the 70s and 80s was definitely different.
Yeah.
And plus the Italian culture, the machismo and the
Yep. I do love his taste in music. Like everything he plays, like even like the things he's done on Suno. That's all my jam. And I'm a huge Billy Joel fan, and yeah, but I don't want to comment like oh yeah, me too, because it's just I'm not trying to swing off his nuts or anything. I just
but that's a lot of people. I mean, that's
oh no, I know
chit chatting. That's the whole basis of the show, right? Just absolutely chit chatting, and you're sitting next to your buddy at the bar on the
I do love his show, man. I do love
around
his
a
show.
cup of coffee.
Yeah.
So
sometimes I lurk more than I comment now, just because I'm just waking up, because it's like 5 o'clock in the morning
early
when
for
it comes
you.
on. Yeah. So I'm usually just waking up, but yeah, I don't know. But sometimes I'll comment and I'll get involved in the topic. But
it's
he's a good dude. He's a good dude.
It's become a love-hate relationship for me with this show, because I need to start my day. And if I start listening to him, I'll sit there and just listen, I'll sit there and listen, and I'll just have my coffee or whatever and pet the cat. And then I don't get started on my day. So it's like, do I listen or don't I listen? Do I get started with my day or don't I get started with my day? So I have this war within myself. So I've kind of decided, it's like 7:30 or 8 o'clock is like my cutoff, and then I have to play my meditation tape. This is what I'm trying. I've only been successful a few days, but this is the goal within my mind, right? To get in this routine instead of a little bit different of a one.
I have a question for the chat, because like originally my legal channel was going to be legal stuff, true crime stuff. I can start interviewing like criminals here on After the Bars. Like I don't know about doing it in the morning show, but just like I do have access to people that book, because I have a booking person who books me on true crime shows. And
Oh, how
yeah, yeah.
interesting.
So I have access to getting some people on the show. I just haven't I don't know, I guess went after it yet. I wanted the show to be a little bit bigger. I was hoping like to get it to like 10,000 subscribers before I started interviewing
Well, maybe
the
once a week, do it as a
yeah,
separate, don't do just part of the morning, do an evening show or something and do it
yeah.
once a week and maybe open up the calls, at the very tail end if people have questions for that person instead of doing it in the questions.
Oh yeah,
People
that's a good
call
idea
in
too.
and just start as once a week. And that could grow you,
Yeah,
that could
yeah.
shoot you. And then you could do it more often if you so chose.
Grateful asked when's the next call-in show. I was hoping it was going to be yesterday. But things happened. I went to see my therapist and then what happened? I kept Hazley home from school yesterday. And then I did your show last night. So I wasn't able to do it yesterday. I will shoot for today to do the call-in show. Cause it's fun, man. It's fun doing it.
Absolutely wonderful.
You just never know how they're gonna sound. And then I can definitely tell the smokers of the community. And then you just never know what they're gonna say.
Exactly.
I'm always like scared and like excited at the same time.
Well, as you get to know some of them, you get to know the personalities. So
Grateful wants to know how many Let Them tattoos. I bet you I've done 8 of them this past
I've
year.
never heard of this.
Yeah.
I'm so removed from
always
culture,
get them to where
culture.
they get them to where they can read them. I do a lot of them right here. And it's just like that. I could probably find one and show you guys. But.
So that's my tattoo that I want, those characters. And it means mind, body, spirit in Korean.
Oh, I love Korean language.
So I want it right over my back surgery scar, which is, my lower back. So that's what I want to get.
Yeah. So I lived in Koreatown for, I don't know, a year and a half.
Oh, really?
And, I dated a Korean chick for a little bit. She was crazy though. She was super crazy. And I used to go to Korean dance halls. They're all over Koreatown in Los Angeles. There's these Korean dance halls and you go there and you get a table, right? And there's a dance floor and they just dance in a circle. So you just dance like kind of like a stroll,
Oh,
and
how
you dance.
interesting.
And then girls will come say, hey, and they'll just take you and then you'll go sit with them at their table and talk. And it's a trip, man. It's a total trip. But I had so much fun doing that. So much fun.
I love my best Korean thing is I loved when I used to compete. The Master Chung had this Taekwondo tournament every year, and he was old, so he was in his 60s at least. But his grandmother used to cook for all the black belts who would help judge and everything, and that was like one of the highlights of my year because her cooking was just absolutely fabulous. So we just loved loved going there.
And if Jade is listening from San Diego, if she's listening today, I was in therapy when you tried calling me yesterday, so just let her know that. That's why I didn't answer, but I seen it. I think I texted her. Never mind. I texted her.
I'm going to start shouting out on my channel, but I'm going to do it since I just happen to be here right now. So I'm going to, the first week of November, I'm going to be in Vancouver, Canada. If anybody is near there and either wants to meet up or host me on their couch for a night or something, I am totally down with that. So, because I'm trying to
You're going to be in Vancouver or Toronto? What did you say?
Vancouver.
Oh, I love Vancouver
for the book launch. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's they've moved it to November 6th. It used to be the 7th, but the actual launch now is on the 6th. And I think the awards ceremony is going to be on the 7th. So I'll be there the 4th or the 5th, somewhere in there, and staying until the 6th or the 7th. I'm not sure. I have another sub who lives across the way in Victoria, but it's an hour and a half by ferry. So I think I'm going to see her at the end of it. After I'm done with my stuff, I'll go over there. And
I've taken that ferry. I bet you 100 times. I've taken that ferry. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
she's just moving there.
The pictures with me on my sailboat, that's all up and on Main Island. And so I have to take the ferry from Vancouver to Victoria, and then I take another ferry to Main Island, and then that's where I kept my boat, was on Main Island.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. So Janet from Carry On, you guys would have a ton of stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's where she's had a beach house there for quite a while.
On Maine?
In Victoria, actually.
Oh, in Victoria. Okay, yeah.
In Victoria.
There's lots of
but she's been
places there.
All across that area.
Yeah, it's called the Straits of Georgia, and then it goes straight to Georgia, goes down to the Gulf Islands. But yeah, there's so many cool places in the Straits. There's Sydney Harbor, Roche Harbor, and then of course down below is Friday Harbor, and that's in the U.S. side. Sydney, Roche, Deer Harbor, and then there's Maine, of course. Yeah, they're all. It's just a beautiful. I've always dreamed of like living there, like when I retire.
Mm-hmm. That's what they're doing.
Unless YouTube takes off, then that's not going to happen. I mean, like one of my channels like really takes off. Yeah, like 30,000 a month.
It's expensive over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to go a few days early and see, Vancouver. I mean, I know it's a huge major city and whatnot, but I'm sure there's the local haunts that you could find if you really wanted to, and stay away from the touristy areas, because I don't know when I'll get back there. So
I was going to say something about Vancouver. In Vancouver, there used to be this place where you could go and they would give you a fresh syringe and like all the works, and you could sit down at like a little kiosk type thing, and there'd just be a bunch of people and everyone would be fixing. And then you would leave all your dirty stuff there, and then you would leave. Isn't that crazy?
Oh my God. That is
nuts. It was like a safe space to use your drugs. It was crazy.
I've heard of giving free needles out.
Needle exchanges. Yep, they have those
never
here.
Heard of a little.
Yeah.
Wow, it's kind of like a hookah lounge.
It kind of like a hookah lounge, but like you could just. It was bizarre. I didn't do drugs when I seen that. But yeah.
Oh my gosh, how weird.
Yeah, super crazy. Super
Chris
crazy.
has lots of safe injection places in Canada. Interesting.
Yeah, isn't that neat?
That's something we don't have here.
Yeah, no. Shooting galleries in Vancouver. Wow, yeah.
Legal ones, exactly. Let me put it that way. There's no legal ones.
Yep.
Totally bizarre.
It is bizarre. We have hashtag streets in Dartmouth. Well, I guess that's it for me today.
Yeah, I will drop out. So I'll let you do your end of your show. Thank you, everybody. I just Sammy was floundering around a little bit with trying to explain the Canadian thing.
You rescued me. I in my head I was like, man, that would be so cool if she could. That's why I was like, do you know more about this? Cool.
Yep, I'm here. And then I stayed. So hopefully you guys enjoyed our chit chat. I just kind of stayed. I apologize. Maybe I should have just dropped out as soon as we got done.
Way, Jose.
I love talking to you. We just kind of.
Yeah, I love talking to you too.
So, all right, guys, love you all. Well, Sammy and I will figure out something and cover the hockey trial at some point. So look for a thumbnail.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Right, take care.
Okay. Bye. Don't you guys just love her? I just love her. I feel like she brings like some class to my craziness. I told her that one time and she disagreed, but we all know better. Yep, of course, Chris. I will talk to you real soon. Okay, guys, I guess I'm out of here. I have some other stuff lined up, but it's almost been 2 hours, and I mean, I can only take me for 2 hours. So I'm sure you guys can barely take me for 2 hours. Thanks for coming out. I'll try to do a call-in show today. So make sure your notifications are turned on. That way you see it when I post it. I will do a community post too, so maybe you'll see it that way. But I'm going to do everything in my power to do a call-in show today, especially in case I can't do a show tomorrow if I go work my construction job. Thanks for all the support, you guys. I love you guys. Thanks, Lord Kiss Freak, for the super chat. Thanks for the prayers and wish and updates as I get them. Yes, please make sure you update us. And of course, you don't have to do a super chat to thank us at all, man. I appreciate you just being here and being a badass dude. But yeah, you guys all have an amazing day. I am going to end it with a new version of the outro video that I uploaded this morning. This one just has better captions. So please, man, try to reach out and make someone's life a little better today. Give them a smile, give them a compliment, whatever you can do. I assure you that it won't only help them, it'll help you, and you'll just treat it as like a way of being of service to someone, in that some way we can serve others. All right. I love you guys. Have a great day.
Oh, wow. Well, this has been a journey. This has been a journey for us, like a journey through from legal troubles to mental health issues, to my own struggles, to your struggles, you sharing your struggles with me. I appreciate you, and thank you for that. Good night, good morning to the listeners of the After the Bar shows, from the morning mayhem shows, or the random nighttime shows. Good night, good morning to the listeners of the After the Bar shows, from the morning mayhem shows, or the random nighttime shows. My people from recovery to legal trials, hope and unity is what we're speaking about. It's a long way to the promised land. All my people understand that this land is our land. One nation under God, and ain't a thing changed. This ain't that, and ain't this, not the same thing. I'm about to bust a move, this a new groove, kinda like a mission, not the Blues Brothers. Good night, good morning to the listeners of the After the Bar shows, from the morning mayhem shows, or the random nighttime shows. Good night, good morning to the listeners of the After the Bar shows, from the morning mayhem shows, or the random nighttime shows. I can feel it, it's a new day. We've got a long way to go. Don't lose faith, don't let the mind games change you. What you see on TV is not always true. You could be anything you want to. I don't know about you, but I am not who I used to be. Not who I used to be. Not who I used to be. No. Good night, good morning to the listeners of the After the Bar shows, from the morning mayhem shows, or the random nighttime shows. Good night, good morning to the listeners of the After the Bar shows, from the morning mayhem shows, or the random nighttime shows.